Hey everyone, what's up everyone? Luigi GX right here, and today I'm going to be reacting to Crash vs. Spyro. Rewind Rumble. Okay, that battle is already out. It came out 2 hours ago, but this one came out a few days ago, so I'm reacting to this one first. See what MH Rewind got right here. Anyway, yeah. As always, to be honest, I like Crash more than Spyro, but I feel like Spyro's gonna win. Anyway, as always, make sure to go check out the original video. Will be right back in once again, okay? Okay. Alright. Wait, is it already starting to fight already? Okay, wait, that was just a teaser right there. Anyway, Amateur Rewind presents a place where all fights are settled, where 2 fighters enter. Oh, and only one can be victorious. Rewind Rumble!
The Bandicoot and the Dragon, a pair of organisms that you would never think be grouped together and then developed into a fully fleshed out rival timeline.
That is true.
They started out as poster boys for the PlayStation, fell out of relevancy about a decade later, and now are both back on the upswings with remastered versions and whatever the heck is going on in Skylanders.
It's Spyro versus Crash Bandicoot. You don't exactly need to beat around the bush.
They really have a lot of similarities. Well, not in their games, mostly because they're rivals in mascot of PlayStation, and then we went through a terrible lineup of games, and yeah, and now has remasters. So yeah, they have gone through the same life.
Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon have a long history together. Crash entered the gaming ring in 1996 and Spyro in 1998, both making debuts on the Sony PlayStation.
Here's a bit of a history lesson. Crash was originally supposed to be Willy the Wombat. Later in production, the name Crash arose because of his tendency to break crates. Why the Wombat was dropped over a Bandicoot is not 100% clear, though who actually wants to play as a Wombat?
Speaking of Crash and the storyline, Crash started out as an innocent animal. Then he was thrown into Dr. Cortex.
Okay, I already have a feeling Spyro's gonna win.
Evolve ordinary animals into super sapient beings. Crash and Tawna were the first 2 victims seen on screen. Crash manages to escape, but Tawna was still in Cortex's captivity. Crash knew what he had to do, and he sets out to save Tawna before Cortex can do anything terrible to her.
The story of Spyro starts off in Stone Hill, a location within the Dragon Realms. Here we see many of the elder dragons working on a documentary.
I know it's not Warlord.
However, little did they know an overlord known as Nasty Nork was eavesdropping on their production. When the topic of the Nork came up, one of the dragons said some questionable things about him. Nasty Nork became very offended by their opinions of him, so he did what every overlord would do. He silenced them with force. He froze every dragon except, you guessed it, Spyro. Due to his small size, Spyro was lucky enough not to be on the Nork's radar, and from that point on, it was up to Spyro to save the dragons from the Nork's wrath.
With Origins out of the way, we can finally spin into important powers and abilities. Speaking of spinning, that is Crash's favorite way to crash into things. His signature battle tactic is known as the Cyclone move. This is a fast motion spinning technique which can deal critical damage if landed on his targets.
Alright.
So fast that during this Cyclone move, he can stay airborne for a short amount of time.
As a dragon, Spyro is known for possessing...
Wait, that's me. I'm guessing this one's a different timeline with Crash, but
fire is only the beginning. Spyro can also emit ice.
Couldn't Crash like spin infinitely?
Most importantly, sheep breath. An adult sheep can weigh up to 350 pounds, so imagine having a dozen sheep hurling towards you. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, and you're probably gonna cry.
Well, 350 pounds is nothing for Crash. This Bandicoot is very strong thanks to his vegan Wumpa fruit diet. He is tough enough to cause considerable damage to Titans and other elephant-sized creatures. He's even strong enough to lift mutants the size of mammoths, which should weigh roughly 10,000 pounds. And speaking of the Wumpa, it's more than just a tasty citrus way to start your day. It's also the leading source of ammunition and fuel for Crash's Wumpa technology.
Crash has a wide range of explosive, guns, and transportation vehicles that are all powered by the same citrus source. My favorites include his Wampa Bazooka, which has enough explosive force to destroy military-grade planes.
It's true. To be honest, the first Crash Bandicoot game I ever played was Wrath of Cortex, which I know doesn't sound like much of a good game, but...
Technology, Spyro, on the other hand, is a man of magic. His most infamous magical form is known as Dark Spyro.
I like it. I thought it was an okay game. That's only because I didn't get to play the others.
And can turn enemies into stone. Plus, he has a mild range of telekinesis in this form.
Did you say magic? Might I remind you of Crash's favorite floating piece of wood?
What have I got?
Aku Aku is a mask that allows Crash to tap into short-term invulnerability, improved durability, tighten mind control, sensory tracking, and a second chance respawn.
If shoulder sidekicks are your type of game, then we can't forget about Sparks the Dragonfly, whom, like Aku, is extremely magical and skilled in the art of healing and protecting. Sparks can grant a durability boost, short-term invulnerability, as well as a second chance respawn.
You know, we've spent this entire time talking about why each character is great, but what about their shortcomings? Crash might have a skull, but inside that skull is a very tiny brain. He's not exactly
yeah, that is true. We all know Crash is dumb.
Advice from his friends, for he is extremely dependent on their game plans and tactics.
While Crash has mental setbacks, Spyro's are more physical. He is still young and has a lot of growing up to do. He isn't a fully developed dragon, and because of this, his horns aren't as large, neither are his wings. Both characters have successfully handled each other's enemies before when they officially crossed over back in 2004, so we know they're both capable of handling each other's responsibilities. What we're about to find out is, if the tables are turned, which one is walking away alive, and which will head back into video game irrelevancy.
Alright. To be honest, I think Spyro's gonna win.
And now it's time we set ourselves a circumstance, and because both characters know each other's worlds so well, location and prep time of any sort is pretty much going to cancel itself out. So the classic Earth no prep setting is the only suitable option, for better or for worse. So once that circumstance bar has
Alright.
loaded,
Makes sense. They have been in each other's universes before. Don't it really? Alright, got right there. Alright, they're just kind of talking to each other or something, or looking at each other by communicating, looking at each other, I don't know. And Crash is just seeing them as outside threat. Oh no. Okay, that would be a reason for them to fight.
Ready? Rumble!
Okay, I'm guessing this is the same guy that animated Mario vs. Crash. I like his animation though. Oh, Spark's still alive. Alright. Crash? How is Crash going that fast? He's not Sonic. Well, if you know exactly some information and everything and names, well, you know that. Yeah. Sonic Fast game. Okay, I had to say it. Wait, what? Doesn't Spyro ever ride skateboards? This would be a perfect time for the Cyclo spin. Really? Alright. Wait, a yo-yo? To be honest, skateboard and yo-yo remind me of Killua. I guess Crash and Spyro are fans of Hunter x Hunter. It'll make much better sense or something. Wait, you can fly. Why can't you just fly out of there? And you just freeze time for a second? Alright, there's the Cyclo spin, kinda. I don't know. Alright, this... To be honest, if this was something other than a versus debate or something, this would be awesome. Alright, there's Dark Spyro. Alright, now we're at the part right here. Well, we already saw this. Oh, free Aquapos. Dang! That was quick. Again, you can only be invisible for a few seconds, so yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed that animation, and if you did, special thanks to Team Animation Rewind's Omega7321. Also, this episode couldn't be possible without the help of my good friend Catatronic TV.
Don't forget to visit my channel by clicking that link down below. There's a lot of cool stuff happening over there, so be sure to stop by and subscribe.
Wow.
Friends.
So be sure to visit both of their channels, don't forget to download the Animation Rewind apps, and stay tuned for the post-analysis.
Wow.
That was a terrible pun, but it's kinda sad that Crash is gone, because he did have the better memes. In fact, that's the only important thing really. Who cares if Spyro could beat him in a fight? Crash's memes...
Wait, their power and durability is tied?
Meme talk for Cartoon Fight Club. Plus, Crash's memes are very normy and overused. Something that a quality character doesn't deserve. What Crash and Spyro both deserve is a good explanation as to why the Purple Dragon wins this fight.
First and foremost, this is not an easy one to call, mainly because they both know each other so well and have canon experience dealing with each other's enemies. This would cause us to bloodlust them if we were to ever put them into a hypothetical battle.
Crash is easily stronger and more durable than Spyro and can lift much more, roughly 10,000 pounds. Spyro, however, has arguably better striking strength. His horns can be used to break through a metallic armor known as Gulp.
Using the size of Spyro, we can compare Gulp to roughly the size of a Spinosaurus, which can weigh up to 46,000 pounds or 23 tons. Considering it took Spyro 3 direct horn hits to damage the metallic Gulp, this would mean his striking strength would be around 8,000 pounds of force.
Overall, though, Crash would still have the strength edge as if we include his technology like his Droid Void mech suit, Spyro would clearly have trouble in the strength category.
Crash in his base form is also more durable than Spyro, as calculated by Leopold the
Oh, he knows them.
Who has enough durability to survive a free fall from the atmosphere all the way down to the surface, which would give him at least city-level durability. When it comes to power, he can easily scale to Crunch Bandicoot, who was strong enough to break through stone and metals.
When it comes to speed, Crash has been seen dodging lightning, which will give him massively hypersonic reaction speed. But this is just reaction speed. As for travel/combat speed, he is fast enough to levitate just from spinning, which to lift his body weight would require supersonic levels of speed from spinning alone.
Spyro has a huge speed edge, mainly thanks to the magic granted to him in the Eternal game. Of course, we've seen Spyro dodging blank lightning as well, which puts his reaction speed on par with Crash's at massively hypersonic. It's Spyro's travel speed that gives him the huge edge. With his Dragon Time ability, Spyro can slow down time to easily defeat his foes. Now, this isn't a full-on time stop, but it's been seen that Spyro can make things roughly 12 times slower. We know this because using the orbit from these platforms, we can see that it takes roughly 4 seconds to make a full revolution in standard time, but in Dragon Time, after 4 seconds, only about 1/12 of the distance was orbited. Dragon Time lasts for at least 15 seconds and takes about 2 minutes to recharge.
This means that during Dragon Time, Crash's reaction speed drops from massively hypersonic to supersonic, which is still fast, but definitely not fast enough to dodge a barrage of critical electric attacks that Spyro can easily land on him.
And then to really seal the deal, there's Spyro's planetary level feats. His most notable is the time he used Dragon's magic to pull the entire globe back together as it was falling apart. What would stop him from using that same magic to use planetary amounts of force to center Crash into himself and crush him? Spyro has also defeated the planetary Malfor, which he can scale to since he's clearly more powerful than him.
Spyro also has much better range. While yes, with Crash's jetpack and copter pack, he can for a short time keep up with Spyro in the air, these have very limited height limits. Spyro can also fly for much longer, as the flight equipment that Crash uses requires a ton of Wampa fruit to keep the tank full.
And Crash might be able to use his Ace of Space motorcycle once he reaches that atmosphere, but that still would have little shot against the Dragon Time hack.
Alright, that makes sense.
No matter where he's at. Speaking of magic, don't even get us started on Dark Spyro. More magical than Sparks, the effects and limits they allow to pass down to Crash and Spyro are relatively similar. They both limit themselves to not have direct confirmation, but to help defensively by healing or reviving their friends. And if we do allow them to indefinitely revive each other, then this fight would have no real end.
Plus, Crash is an idiot compared to Spyro. And yes, Crash does have dumb luck on his side, but luck can only get you so far.
Crash may not be as smart, but then I ask, is Spyro smart enough to even tie his own shoes?
I see where you're going with that, but shoe smarts is not the same thing as making
that is true.
Decisions.
Overall, while Crash is stronger and more durable, Spyro is much faster, and his planet-level feats are so impressive, they essentially overwhelm anything Crash can put on the table, making the winner of this Rumble, Spyro the Dragon. Now, for those unfortunate souls who have seen the Crash vs. Spyro vs. Toothless 3-way over on Cartoon Fight Club many years ago, this was technically the rematch to that, and I know the rematch was supposed to be another Battle Royale, but I thought it'd be cool to split it up. The first one, obviously, that we did was Crash vs. Spyro, and if you want to see Spyro vs. Toothless...
Alright. Okay, we all... To be honest, I feel like Toothless is gonna win this one.
as well. And for anyone who wants to see Crash Bandicoot win, well, good news for you, we have a special alternate ending at the end of this video before we announce the next fighters.
Alright.
To comment down your own ideas, don't forget to download the Animation Rewind apps, and stay tuned as we show you that alternate ending as well.
The next fighters. Oh god darn ad!
As well as the next fighters for the next Rewind Rumble.
Alright, there's the alternate ending. What? Dang!
On the next episode,
This is brutal.
Rumble.
Oh, right. Okay. I know it's classic Sonic, but I feel it, but still, he's gonna win. I'm sorry, but Pikachu stands no chance. Yeah, I don't see Pikachu winning this one at all. Anyway, yeah, as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you right back here. Next one is time for the Death Battle one.